Loss of biodiversity is usually invisible to our human mind because the Earth life is like 4.5 billion years. So human beings only like little tiny time that we have existed on the Earth. So the nature loss, if we don't address that, it's become a slow death. How can we do something now to prevent something happen? Prevent extinction of species. And so the prevention is really critical. Nature is the system sustaining all of us. Our survival all depending on it. So we are seeing the decline of it in a very dangerous rate. So we all need to do something together. It's obligation, it's the responsibility that we all have to do something for the system that we're all standing and depending on. Biodiversity is a web of life and the services it's provided to human beings. It's not only to human beings, to other species, other lives on the Earth. So basically, it's a whole system around us, which we may not feel it every day, but it's critical for our survival. If you see the pollinators gone, you don't feel it, but next year you might have less food to eat. So that's really how the biodiversity is critical to us. It's never single separated issue. It's all connected. If the temperature raises, you also don't have your food. If you lost the water, you also don't have a sustainable life. So it's all intertwined, and we have to address all this together. Together, we can make it possible. There are many challenges in the world that WWF is trying to tackle, and many of them including water, ocean, species, food. The most important issue to really understand and tackle is the drivers behind the loss of biodiversity, why we're losing biodiversity. I think that's the top priority for WWF thinking, to working with other like-minded to see how can we really addressing the drivers of biodiversity loss. That's including the land use pattern change, including the different use of misuse of subsidies, including the governance, how do we make decisions. So that's really the critical we need to really address. So one thing we are trying to do now is we call a New Deal for Nature and People. Basically, we would like to really want the nature become high up in the agenda of politicians, of corporate leaders, of general public, everybody. We should take nature in the heart of our mind. So the decision has to be made in the next 2 years, so that in the next decades or even hundreds of years that we can really stop the loss and stop that slow death, and to prevent that, so that human species can really thrive together with others, with food, with water, with the prosperity that we like to see as a human being in the future. And that's all depending on the health of nature systems. And we need action, we need a decision, we need it now. People think future is tomorrow. No, future actually is now. Future is today. Future is you and me. Everyone can do our part. Each one of us can take decision, can make decision, take actions, big, small. And if you're Secretary General of United Nations, you can call for a nature summit by 2020, where all the head of state coming to make decision. If you're a housewife at home, you can also choose to say, use less water, use less of plastics, and then reduce the food waste. Every one of us can take some action. Big or little, large or small, every bit counts.